Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Um, I have some really interesting videos to play for y'all. I was about to watch one on Reels, but I said, yo, I feel like I should just watch this on the episode because it's long and it's interesting and it's a subject I actually want to like look more into, like really deep dive, and I might bring that next episode. Um, yeah, I won't even lie to y'all. Like me shooting episodes alone, like I haven't really found a flow yet. Like a flow I like, sort of like how to run the show. Like every week, I'm working on how to do something that's like out of the ordinary. Like not the same, because it's harder on your own. I ain't gonna lie, and but I'm working on that, and while I'm working on it, I'm gonna bring y'all episodes anyway, even if it's not really run the way I like, because it's motion. In order to really find your rhythm, you need motion. So, anyways, let's hop on the video that I was planning on playing with y'all. All right.
I got an anonymous email from someone who claimed to have worked at the elite invite-only Club 33 at Disney World, the most magical place on earth, and the dark things that went on when this person was working there. The information in the email that this person shared is creepy to say the least. And honestly, this is the kind of story I live for. I love these weird, different, interesting stories. But I have to say a couple things before I start this one, because this person was so bent on being anonymous that they actually sent the email from a burner email. You can do that on the form on my website. Not many people do. They just asked me to change their name. But this person actually used a fake email to submit this story. And they told me they were doing so because the confidentiality agreements that you sign when you work for Disney are so extensive, especially working at this club, that your life can be ruined if you speak on what you saw or what you did. That said, I cannot verify if any of this is true. And I spoke with my lawyer friend. He's not an entertainment lawyer, but I told him about this story and he read the email and he said that just to be safe, to put a disclaimer that this story is for entertainment purposes only. So this story is for entertainment purposes only. There is no validity or truth to this that I can prove. Disney, please don't come for my head. I am a mother. I would like to bring my son there one day. I've also never been there. This person said that there's a lot of things about Disney that a lot of people don't know. For example, there's an extensive tunnel system that goes underneath the park that stretches for miles, but it's mostly not used. It's called a utilidor. And the majority of it that is used is underneath Magic Kingdom. There's nothing inherently spooky about this. It's mostly used as a cafeteria. There's some office spaces, and then there's also the zoo where characters get dressed. At one point, the park also did tours in this tunnel system, but they didn't show the lower level. This person said that they believe that one of the reasons they did tours into these tunnels was to prove that nothing sketchy was going on down there. So I don't know. Another thing this person said that many people don't know is that if you work there as a character, you're not allowed to say, I work at Disney World as Cinderella. You have to say, I'm friends with Cinderella at Disney World. Staff is not allowed to tell guests no unless they're doing something illegal. But basically, you can get away with whatever you want at Disney World as long as you're following the law. One final thing this person said was that the janitors have a habit of throwing their broom and dustpan into a river in Disney World when they retire. And the person who emailed me shared these facts that not many people know just as a way to prove their validity, I guess, or to be taken as a credible source. So you make up your own mind. And remember, all of this is alleged. Now, this person says that they worked at Club 33. They did not say how long they worked there or how they got this job, so I don't know. But Club 33 is not a secret. It is hidden in plain sight, but you can't buy your way in. You have to be invited, and the waitlist stretches years. This person said they worked at Club 33 for more than 1 year, but less than 10. And during that time, it was the best job they ever had until they started noticing things that they shouldn't have. If you've been to Disney, you've probably passed it. There is just a small bronze plaque marking its entrance. On the outside, it's just a nondescript door, but on the inside, it's something else. Inside, there's a full-service bar, an expansive dining room, chandeliers, and artwork from Walt Disney's personal collection. There is even furniture that supposedly belonged to Walt Disney himself, and most people that come there just come to eat and drink and have a good, exclusive time. There are places and things inside that even most members of Club 33 don't see. And most of the time, it's normal. It's just working for very, very rich people. But the first time that this person experienced something strange was working when a very exclusive group of VIPs were in. They were in one of the private dining rooms of Club 33, but this party was strange because nobody was eating and nobody was drinking. The person who emailed me was just working, and their only duty was to make sure that no one needed anything. They were not allowed to talk and had to stand in the corner with their hands behind their back watching this group. And all this group was doing when everybody came in and was seated was sitting at the table in silence, staring at a small black box in the middle of the table. This went on for hours, and this person even said that even their managers were standing by the doors with their hands behind their back, completely expressionless. Finally, one of the members got up, picked up the black box, and left, and everybody smiled. None of them exchanged a word, but they all got up and left at the same time, and then they were normal in the lobby, smiling and laughing with each other. This person said they have no idea what was in the box. Another creepy thing that happened was that this person noticed a secret elevator. They said that Club 33 is full of hidden details, and there is an elevator that the public uses. Well, not the public, but the members. And it's amazing. It's old-fashioned. It's a lift designed to fit Walt Disney's personal taste. It's full of hidden details, but supposedly there's another elevator that this person witnessed seeing, one that supposedly doesn't exist. It was around 2 a.m. and the last of this private party of VIPs that this person was working for left. They were polishing some wine glasses when they heard a whirring, like a mechanical noise coming from behind them. So they turned around, and behind a wine rack, one of the wooden panels had slid open to reveal the inside of another elevator. This person said that the inside of this elevator looked old, like the mirrors were fogged, there were like rusted details, flickering lights, but they were facing it head on, right? Just looking, and it looks empty. And they're watching as the doors slide shut, and right before they close, they see a hand reach out, and it was small and pale. They said it was like a split second, like it almost looked like someone was trying to stop the door from closing. And then it was gone. So this person immediately finds their manager, and they say, "Is there another elevator in here?" And the manager says, "There's no other elevators besides the main one." And this person says, "No, I absolutely saw an elevator. Like, there's an elevator here." And this manager says, "No, I've worked here for X amount of years. There's no elevator. I would know about it." This person also said that security at Disney is like lock and key. There are cameras everywhere besides the bathroom, but there's a surprising lack of cameras inside Club 33. This person said that maybe there are cameras and they're just hidden, but this area is not under as high security or surveillance as the other areas in the park. Another weird thing about Club 33 is that it has a lot of secret rooms. They're not really secret for people who work there, but they're really just used for private meetings, high profile dinners, things that the park just doesn't want many people to know about, including park staff. There's one room that nobody is ever allowed to enter, including staff, and it's locked. This person said this door is not marked. It's just a small brass keyhole. There's no plaque on the door, nothing like that. And in the entire time that this person worked there, they never saw anyone go in or come out except for once. It was late. This person was about to leave for the night, about 2 a.m, and they saw a man in a black suit and a hat rush in and open the door. He was walking quickly, almost like he was being chased or followed by someone. He goes in, he closes the door behind. And this person waited for as long as they could, but they never saw him come out. All of this secrecy really started weighing on the person who emailed me, and they had been considering quitting even though it was a good job. But the final straw came one night within the last 5 years. They did not say when. Club 33 was closed for a very exclusive group of VIPs. They had changed the atmosphere in the club. All of the chandeliers had been dimmed to low, and the lighting was just very eerie. This person's higher ranking managers had wheeled in something covered in a sheet, and when they unveiled it in the middle of the room, this person saw that it was a wax figure of Walt Disney himself. When it was unveiled, everybody in the room went silent and all stood to face in the same direction around it. Nobody was eating, nobody was drinking. This was another party where this person was instructed to just stand in the corner with their hands behind their back. And at first they thought this figure of Walt Disney was just a wax figure until he saw it move. This person said it could have just been performance art. But this wax figure was very much alive. The chest was moving up and down as if it were breathing, and the eyes opened and closed. Once this figure opened its eyes, every single member of this VIP group who was here for this dropped to their knees and bowed their head. This person quit after that. They said that they believe that something dark is going on at Club 33 because only the most successful, most elite people are invited to join. This person believes that they're doing something that most people aren't supposed to understand. Anytime this person asked questions to their superiors, they were told the same thing. That's not for you to know. And remember, all of this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yo. All right, that was interesting. Hold on. What did she say the name of the club was? What number was? She said it was number. Hold on. She said it was number 33. Now, if you watch my show or you know a little bit more about the Masons, the highest rank, that's actually the number. So, and she also said it's like the most elite that are members, like it sounds like Freemasonry. Now, I'm not saying that this is real. Obviously, she doesn't know if it's real either, but that sounds interesting. Next month I'm having like my aunt over. She has a little son who's like 4 years old, and she's planning on bringing him to Disney. So I'm I'm gonna make sure I look for that room or like the door, whatever. But I'm sure it's hard to notice. Um, and this is a very interesting topic because like we see it as like the happiest place on earth, and it really is exciting. It has like amazing energy, amazing food. You have so much fun for sure. Like I even love it. It's been years since I've years. Wow, I don't even remember. Like almost like damn near almost 20. But even now at my age, like I feel like I would enjoy it anyways, no matter what. But just because it's the happiest place on earth, it doesn't mean that like shady shit is not happening in like uh behind the scenes. I sort of remember I saw a clip of like this woman, like her son was sick or something, or he was hurt, and like employees put him in some like elevator, and she saw like levels below it, and just it sort of makes sense, sort of, it's like, why does it need to be underground? And it's Florida, like if you know about like Florida, we have like no cellars or like any of that because Florida's like below sea level or whatever. It's like right at sea level. So it's interesting why it's underground, even if it's in Central Florida. And as you heard of like Rob Schneider, which is Nickelodeon. Wait, is that the name, Rob Schneider, or maybe just another? Whatever, Nickelodeon. If you saw the documentary, we all grew up watching all of those shows. Love that. It's our we, but behind the scenes, some bad shit was happening. So I'm not surprised if it could happen. In other places as well. It's Hollywood at the end of the day. And bringing up Hollywood, I didn't see the whole clip. I saw like a snippet of it, but SNL, I believe last weekend had like this sort of like demonic set, and I'm gonna play it for y'all. I don't know why they always like mock the Christians. It's always the Christians, and like it's happened like a lot in SNL, just at the Emmys, the Oscars, whatever. Like Hail Satan and shit like that. It's like, yo, they look, and they always like act like that shit is hilarious, and it just, oh, we're just, everyone says Hollywood is demonic, so we're just like playing along. It's not funny. It's not funny. Like even if it was like a humorous, like that shit is not. It's just not. That shit is whack. That shit is just so fucking silly. But anyways, let's watch it. Once again, no one mocks Islam though, right? I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone mock Islam. Why is that? Because Muslims get active. It don't matter who ends up in prison, whatever. If and they'll have it in their head, Allah said do something. Allah said light them up. They'll do it. Oh man! All right, here it is. Let's play it.
All praise belongs to.
All right. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see. I just don't see how that's like hilarious. I mean, like, the first scene where like he says like her actual age and shit, and she's like, what? That's mad disrespectful. I'm not 50 years old. Maybe that's a little funny, but how does that end up as something like demonic like that. Just like, huh? I just don't know how that's fucking like who the hell, like who wrote this shit and say yeah, this is hilarious. And let's actually look up the names being used, right? Because if it's just playing, if it's just like playing around, right? And none of it's real, why do, not always, but once in a while, real names get used. Okay, so who's Lamash 2? Let's see if it's real. Lamash 2. Shit, I probably shouldn't even be looking this shit up. It's 1 a.m. I don't want him to pop up. Lamash 2 is actually an ancient demon goddess associated with disease, death, and nightmares. So that's a real one. Let's see. They mentioned some other names. Let's see if those are also real. They said Kalima. This is actually a Hindu demon also. So that's another one. Let's see if they mentioned one more. Pazuzu. I've actually heard the name Pazuzu. Damn, I shouldn't be saying this shit out loud. Yeah, but this is another one. Babylonian. And he's a major one. But you see what I'm saying? You don't need to use make-up names. Make-up names, like, it doesn't matter, right? Why would you need to use real freaking demons? It's bizarre and it's not fucking funny. But anyways, I digress. Let's move in to our next video where someone uses a Ouija board when he's young, and it looks pretty bad. Never play with that, yo. We don't play with that. I've never it's like seen one in real life, but I believe it was sold at like Walmart or something as well for like $20, maybe less. It's crazy that it's something, in order to freaking summon something, is worth $20, and you can buy it at your local Walmart. I'm not sure anymore, but I think in the past.
This is the first time I've gone on camera to explain what it is that is my major aversion towards things such as Ouija boards. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I moved from a historic area in San Jose, California, to a place in South San Jose known as Campbell. It was just far enough away from my old house to have to change schools and find completely new friends. And in doing so, we kind of got into a lot of things that, kids get into. The 90s was a time where, a 6, 7, 8-year-old could kind of like bounce around town with his friends and not really worry about it. We didn't have cell phones. It was a very come home before the street lights turn on kind of environment that we lived in. And as we got older, we got a little bit more freedom. Our parents trusted us a little bit more, and they trusted that we had good judgment not to get ourselves involved in negative situations. I didn't live in the best neighborhood. Very mixed socioeconomic group. There was your standard drug houses. There was people that parents were business professionals and entrepreneurs, and we kind of existed in the same neighborhood around each other where we all went to the same school, San Anselmo Elementary. and right up the street was Bernal Middle School. So around that was the Santa Teresa Mountains. It's what separates San Jose from Santa Cruz, and it's well known to be an area that was inhabited by Native Americans for many, many centuries before we arrived. When I started approaching my preteen years, it was not uncommon for me to skateboard off with my friends, go jump a light rail, and tell our parents we were at the park. We used to explore those mountains. We had a lot of areas like Dottie's Pond, and that was the site of a young girl who was being bullied by a couple other older girls who ended up getting pushed into the pond, and at the very bottom of it was nothing but what would be known as quicksand or really thick mud, and she was sucked in and she drowned. That area was fenced off for my entire youth. We used to go hang around there because it was a scary place to go where someone had passed away, and kids are interested in that kind of thing. But as I was growing up, I started experiencing a lot more things in my own home that were unexplained. I would see objects move in my own house. I would see things, especially in my kitchen area, be knocked over. Me and my sister would walk home from school and we'd see, a complete disarray, thinking to ourselves, man, Dad must have been in a hurry to leave the house, or Mom must have been in a hurry to leave the house when she dropped us off to school and then just left us here. So when you're a kid, you don't think that deep on things like that. So as I grew older and I started hearing the lore about the area that I lived in, it became more and more obvious to me that I was experiencing something that I was being told didn't exist, sort of. Because when you're a kid, you're growing up, and before you're conditioned to believe, oh, ghosts don't exist and this doesn't happen and that's all make-believe. Before you're conditioned to do that, you're really seeing things through your own eyes, seeing things as they happen, being present in the experience of seeing something unknown happen. I remember an instance where there was a holiday party at my sister's middle school. The site of her school is a crazy place alone. I mean, there's a story that you can actually probably look up online still. There was a book in her library that actually told about it, of a Native American tribe that was slaughtered by settlers. They literally lived all around our area, the base of the Santa Teresa Mountains, and there was a curse placed on the land, allegedly. People still say that they see apparitions of Native Americans, specifically a young girl in full regalia, beads, headdress, everything, walking around the campus and the area around the campus. So one night we're at this holiday party. Ironically, it was a Halloween party. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was October 29th, 1999. And there was a bunch of games. There's bobbing for apples. There's there's prizes to be won, little toys, gifts, whatever. They have a cakewalk, things like that. But there was a back gym section of my sister's school that they used for make a basket or throw the bean bags, knock the teeth out of the little smiling guy, and get a kazoo or some sort of noisemaker or something as a prize. And I remember this instance pretty vividly, that we were kind of all standing there. I was in line. I was second or third in line to do the basketball game. And all of a sudden the lights start flickering and then they shut off completely. And in the corner of the room, there's these two emergency doors. Those fly open. And I could see clear as day with the emergency lights that are outside that no one's holding them open. A gust of wind comes in and like a horror movie starts swirling in the middle of the room, and it starts picking up all sorts of things: popcorn, bags, trash, paper. And as it swirls for a couple seconds, it starts gusting towards the wall, and it goes out the other emergency exit door. And as soon as the gust of wind carries all that debris out, the lights turn back on. And all the parents are looking at each other going, ooh, crazy, scary, as if someone set it up. But in hindsight, even being a 9-year-old, I've always been a very mentally confident person. And what I know now is that is something that, without a Hollywood budget, cannot be orchestrated at all. It was a paranormal experience for sure, and I can't let go of those type of memories in my mind. So those type of instances are what got me interested in the paranormal field in general. As time went on, I was a crazy young kid. I started getting interested in it. I mean, obviously, I was your standard Goosebumps reading, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Nickelodeon kind of kid. But when I was getting into my preteens, my friends and I had developed this interest around the paranormal, and that was the time I had originally heard about Ouija boards. I remember telling my friends at school, one of which is now a Patreon subscriber to us, growing up that I thought my house was haunted. I thought that there was activity going on there. And a lot of the kids at school would think, I'm crazy or, I'm making this story up for attention. But I stayed adamant on it. I mean, I went to that school from second grade till I was in sixth grade. And my story really never changed. I was telling people what was crazy is a lot of them lived on the same ground that I lived on. They lived on this ground that was just completely embedded with Native American body parts and bones and artifacts and all sorts of stuff that might contain some sort of mystical energy. A friend of mine's older siblings actually had a Ouija board, and he had access to it, and he had mentioned to us, hey, my older brother has this Ouija board that he used to play with his friends, and he says he won't touch it anymore. He won't even let me play with it. And so for about 6 months, he teased about it and said, we should do the Ouija board. We should do this. We're all ages 11 to 13, 14 years old. Finally, one day it was dusk, and we were out in the hills of Santa Teresa Mountains, and we came across this old stable. I'm talking, the thing was about to fall. It was this old, dilapidated wood horse stable that was just a covering to keep the rain off of their animals. And it was about dusk when we started walking down the hill, and we heard the sound of hooves. And, that's not uncommon for the area necessarily because people do have horses up there, but it sounded like a lot of hooves. You start hearing this gallop sounding like multiple horses. And then we started hearing shrieks and cries. And the only way I can describe it is it sounded like Native American warriors charging into battle. I have no other way to put it. I really don't. And later that night, he was teasing, saying we should go back up there and we should do a Ouija board. We should do a Ouija board. And it was a Saturday night, so we decided that we were going to go ahead and do it. We told our parents that we were staying the night at each other's houses. Very common thing growing up. I'm sure a lot of you understand what I'm talking about. So that way we were kind of accounted for, and we took the Ouija board and a handful of candles. I'm talking like scented candles and stick candles and tiny little candles left over from Halloween for jack-o'-lanterns. And we took them into the middle of the canyon where the horse stable was. So the oldest of us was 13, and he had brought a lighter from home so he could go ahead and light the candles. And we had no idea what to expect from this. We just kind of sat around in a circle, and we started asking questions. We were getting up from the circle, sitting back down. We were taking our hands off and picking our noses, whatever the hell we were doing. There were 4 of us. 3 of us sat in the circle and participated, and the sister of one of my friends sat outside of it because she was too afraid to participate based on things she'd heard from her older siblings and things she'd seen on TV. And we decided that we were going to do our first ever Ouija board seance. So we sat there and we asked questions. Are you a Native American? Did you die here? Were you involved in any battles? And this went on for 20, 30 minutes. We were getting up out of the circle, coming back, nothing official. We didn't know the rules of the board. The board was extremely old. I don't know if it came with instructions when he took it from his brother's closet or whatever, but it definitely wasn't present inside the box. So as we do the Ouija board, we're starting to all get a little bit more scared, a little bit more on edge, and we decide to call it quits and blow the candles out. So this is where it gets really heavy, and this is where it becomes hard for me to talk about. And it's one of those things where every time I tell this story, I don't want to say that I start crying, but it's almost like I can't control the water coming from my face. So I can't attribute exactly this event to it. It was just too close afterwards. It was too close afterwards for me not to think that it might have had something to do with it. Another friend that I was with, he was a year younger than me, and he was there participating in the Ouija board. I'm not going to say his name for privacy. The person that is watching this, there might be 1 or 2 people that knew me growing up that is watching this. They know exactly who I'm talking about. We left, and basically when we left and we went back to my house, he was quiet. He wasn't really his normal usual self, very bubbly, very active, very chattery kind of kid. He just seemed like something was off about him. This is the type of friend that I hung out with every single day. His mom would take us to the skate park. We would go pretty much everywhere together. We would lie for each other to make sure that our bases were covered. Monday came around, and at school I was looking for him and I didn't see him. So I called his house and I asked his mom, and she said that he wasn't feeling well and that he's kind of been quiet and like in his own room, and she doesn't know what happened. She asked me a bunch of questions with what had happened over the weekend, and like I obviously was scared. I wasn't going to tell her like, hey, we lied and said we were staying at night at each other's houses, and we took a Ouija board from so-and-so's older brother, and we went and played with it on Indian burial ground in the middle of the canyon we weren't supposed to be at in the middle of the night. Again, this is one of those like really heavy situations because you have to understand the mental state someone's in, especially at that young of an age, to be able to do something like this. So a few days went by, and I still hadn't had any contact with him. I'm already starting to feel it. I hadn't had any contact with him. And it was Tuesday, it was Wednesday, it was Thursday, it was Friday. I hadn't spoken at all. A couple of weeks go by, and we find out that he is just so profound to me. It's like this is a time in life where there should really be no stress. You're a kid, what could possibly be affecting you in that kind of way at that young of an age? Like, we didn't hear anything from his mom. I mean, rightfully so. Like, she's probably traumatized and extremely sad, as all of us were. But something intuitive inside of me, my intuition was saying that it had something to do with what we had done in the canyon that night. And for many, many years, I took a lot of responsibility for it. I thought I saw him as a person that looked up to me as a role model, and the older friend that we were with, he would look to us for like guidance and look up to us. And I think as an adult, I understand how much more powerful and profound that really is.
Yeah, that was a little heavy at the end. I won't lie. Yeah, I hit home because, as you could see, he said we all know someone who might have done that or is in that situation, and I'm actually that someone. If you saw my last episode, I recently have a family member who did that, and the regret you have, whether you were around him a lot or not, is heavy, because it's like you wish that they'd ask for help, or like at least hit you up, like just about something. You wish you ask, yo, how are you, man? How's your mental health? You good? So yeah, just if you know anyone, like I said last episode, like just reach out, a close friend, a family member, someone who you're close with, but you don't hit up as often. You never know who's suffering. But anyways, about the video itself, yeah, it's like that Ouija board shit is really not a game. And if you're not a believer of the supernatural, I don't blame you. It sounds hilarious at like a board with like letters and yes or no, it could summon something. But I hear you. But if you do, it's because like a lot of this shit is actually like really spiritual. Like even words, I, I'd always say on the regular, like it really means something. It has like a root origin, like it's magic. Like our word, it's like it could be magic. Like have you ever said like, here's like the simplest of examples. You say someone is fucking ugly or some nasty word, and it makes them like feel away. Words have it holds weight, But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Don't play with the Ouija boards. And next episode, I'm gonna see if I hop into more weird shit, Disney shit behind the scenes, um, some like real events that has happened. So, uh, please like, subscribe, and if you have any, supernatural shit that's happened to you, email below, and I'd love to play it on here. I'll see you guys.